watch his channel. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. We do a video. It's Grandma channel.
What's going on, fishing folks? Welcome back to Guy with the GoPro Fishing Show. And in today's episode, it's going to be called Deep Cranking, Covering the Zones. And I'm talking from deep to mid to the bank. Me, when I'm on the back deck of somebody's boat, I got a couple choices. I can either have second dibs at everything that they're getting to target first, or I can kind of, what I like to do is go parallel off the back deck. And I'll explain it. Usually on a lot of bass boats, in the driver's console, there'll be a graph. Fish finder, you know, it'll show your depth, water temp, etc., you know, bottom contour and what have you, and fish. So I like to ask, which way is the transducer pointing? Most of the time it's directly off of the back deck. So what I do is I'll turn around, I'll look, I'll check the depth, I'll see about what, if they're suspended, if they're hugging the bottom, or if they're up near the surface. And that's how I pick my presentation. Now this is all revolves around cranking, because that was the bite we got on at the second run of the year at Plum Orchard. So there was some target fishing, but mainly what I do is, for example, this was again with Brother John from Jab Bassin. Shout out to you, buddy. What I do is, while he's up front target fishing, say we're going down a field of lily pads, I know that his transducer is pointing right off the back, so I can line up parallel with that same lily pad field that he's targeting the holes and the differences, because that's where the fish are going to be. Like, say there's a pad field and then there's an in cut. That's where they're going to be. So what I do is I check the depth. So let's start with our 6 to 10 foot range. I noticed on the graph they were about 5-6 foot deep. They were like suspended in about 12 feet of water. We were in at the edge of the weed line, or I'm sorry, pad line. So I started with the Yozuri in a shad, and it's got the foil insert and the false eye dot, which you will see here. Hey dude, chill out, bud. Dang, chill out, buddy. You are healthy, ain't you? My gosh. It's a good one. Next, and this was the only instance that I chose to, instead of paralleling with the lily pads, I chose to hit second dibs on the same targets that John was hitting first. This is a Rapala DT10 in a Helsinki shad, and it's that example of there were pads, the edge, and then there was an inlet. And I threw in there and I got about 3 handle turns, and I watched him come out from the side and he smoked it. I mean, he smoked it, and John goes, I just threw in there. So, you know, me personally, in clear water, which Plum Orchard is a clear water fishery or high visibility fishery, I do better with silent baits. I just do. I like to throw a lot of the Rapala stuff. You would think that liplesses would work, but I haven't tried the very few silent lipless that I have. I only have a couple. But that, getting back to that, you know, the edge of the weed line is 12 foot, so, you know, I chose to throw a DT10 and it worked out. It's a good color. Anything, if you're talking a shad wrap, if you're talking a DT4, if that Helsinki shad is just as good as Smash, it's just as good as all those special Mike Iaconelli colors. Excuse me. It's just as good as old school. The fish will let you know. They will let you know, you know, if you're on the right color or not. So the next zone we go to will be from 10 foot to like 10 plus to around 18 foot. Can't do the old turn the camera on while I'm fighting a fish thing because I lose too many fish, so you just see the after effects. Just a buck. So in the 10 to 18 foot zone, I again went with a Rapala, and first cast I was going across the mouths of creeks. So say you're putting along and there's a cove, whatever you want to call it. I call them creeks because usually there's, not all the time, but usually there's a feed or some sort of system of water making that cove, whether it's a spring, runoff, whatever, or just the inlet. Excuse me. So at the mouth, what I picture in my mind is, since there's a corner on each end, you got to figure on the bottom there's a long tapering point. So, you know, again, being on the back of the boat, you got to figure out a system that's gonna work for you, you know. So while the boat commander that's in the front, that's working targets or working the bank or whatever, I'll turn the other way and throw across the mouth of the creek or of the cove opening, and imagine my bait going down and kind of covering the point and being in the strike zone long on that long cast. I used a 7.6 Magnum heavy Bass Pro Shops cranking stick with a Shimano Caius 150 because it holds a lot of line. And I use 12-pound tests. A lot of people use 14, 15. I'm trying to get my bait down as deep as possible because I can't cast the farthest. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm in all right shape, but I'm just not a big guy with a lot of weight behind me, and I don't have too many. I got a couple high-end reels, but not too many to where you can just let it rip and it's just gonna sail, right? So again, in the 10 to 15 or 18 foot zone, I went with the DT16. Regular shad, you know, with the gray back, false eye, number 2 EWG hooks on it, first cast. Get a little dink. Swatter. Oh, you got the front hook. Yeah. Little dude. Hold on, boss. Okay, buddy. Second cast on the upturn to start to get my bait coming back up so I can pull it out to make another cast. I caught a good one, right? And then dun dun dun. GoPro, stop recording. Damn, dude. Yeah. Man, he is a shallow fish too. Look how dark he is. Man, hold on, boss. I know, dude. I know. Hold on a second. Wow. I became part of the, I got a hook in my hand, barbed deep. It was in my thumb. I had two choices. I could either ruin the whole day and be a little whiner and go to the hospital, or I can man up, hold my thumb down, and look away so I don't barf, and John can pull him out with pliers. And that's what happened. So after I kind of cleaned it up a little bit with some hand sanitizer, sat there for about 10 minutes and gathered myself, I got back to fishing because that's what I came there to do. But I'm telling you that those were my first 2 catches ever on a DT16, and in that zone, not just because those were my first 2 catches, but in that zone, I feel that is one of the most efficient baits you could throw. I know a lot of pros that throw the DT16. They don't talk about it. They avoid talking about it. That's how effective it is. Okay, so yeah, my best fish of the day ended up hooking me too, so you know, I'm part of the club now. But anyway, on to the next zone. Alright, so now we're talking big plugs. We're talking 18 plus, you know, as deep as you can get a bait. So John had mentioned that the Department of Natural Resources stocked golden shiners in there for forage fish. So I pulled out my Berkeley Dredger 25.5, and John pulled out his Berkeley Dredger 25.5. Now here's a little test we did to show the importance of color. We're both fishing the same area. We're both fishing the same depth. I'm throwing a golden shiner Berkeley Dredger 25.5. He's throwing like some sort of shad pattern with like a pro blue back, I want to say. I really didn't get a good look at it. And I caught one, and he didn't. So that just shows you, don't listen to these dudes that say color don't matter, it's all about the retrieve, and you know, it's all about the wobble. And I've done a lot of cranking. It's one of my favorite presentations. It's one of my favorite ways to catch fish. I know you guys hear me say that about a lot of techniques, but really, I mean, I got a lot of rods dedicated for that technique, and I got one for each zone. You know, I got a square bill rod that's composite. I got 6/8 medium heavy Fenwick lunker stick. That's a composite rod, which means glass, fiberglass, and graphite. So you can throw moving baits without ripping treble hooks out of their mouth.
Just gotta push it harder, I guess.
Yeah. The first one on the dredger, 20.5 or 25.5. I don't know which one, but not the biggest fish. But at least he decided not to hook me.
It should say on the belly of that thing 25.
Yeah, it's a big one. I have a 7-foot Dobbins cranking rod that's designed for cranking, but it is not fiberglass. It is regular graphite, but it's very limber, and it's a medium heavy. It's a Colt, 7-foot Colt. I have I think after that it goes to I used to have a 7.3 13 fishing, but it broke. So after that it goes to the 7.6 mag heavy Bass Pro Shops Crankin Stick. But you know, being on the back deck, you can either throw a technique that, you know, there's a lot of variables that you have to take into consideration. Okay, is the guy that's operating the trolling motor going to be going slow enough for you to do some sort of finesse type stuff? Or is it just covering water? You know, are you going to hit spot lock or drop anchor or whatever and really pick apart an area? Or are you just going to go upstream and let the current bring you back down, and whatever you have a chance to hit on the way down is what it is? So just try to keep all those things in mind when you're being a guest on somebody's boat. Good news is, guys, that I did lock in a deal for a John boat. So Guy with the GoPro Fishing Show will soon have a vessel. It is nothing fancy, but it is worthy. She is seaworthy, and I'm probably not going to get it out. I'm going to get it out as much as I can this season, but I'm going to be doing a lot of work as far as building a front deck that I can stand on, having some kind of counterbalance weight in the back, because it is a V hull. It's not a flat bottom. Hopefully saving up enough to get a decent depth finder. I gotta get a new battery. I gotta get a grease gun to make use of the bearing buddies that are on the trailer. But I mean, it's a great deal, and I want to give a special thanks to Robert and Angie for for being flexible and negotiating a fair price with me. It's gonna change my life, like literally. Like, I get to get out on the water and fish how I want to fish. You know, whether I want to take somebody with, or just take you guys along, or however, or, you know, hopefully a little mama that likes to fish, you know, whatever. It's just going to be nice to be able to get out there on the water. And I have a lot to learn, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of mistakes, but there's going to be a lot of fish caught too. So, like I said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Now is the time to deep crank, and that, I know that's all relative. So if you're on the bank, which 95% of the time, so am I, now's the time to throw square bills. Now's the time to be throwing DT4s. Now's the time to crank cover water, throw liplesses, throw, you know, moving baits. Get to moving, because these fish metabolism is almost peak. and they're looking to chomp something. Speaking of, I got some secret weapon baits. Hopefully I get to test out tomorrow. Nobody I fish with that I know has them, which is cool. So, and they're American made. So, coming soon. Hopefully there'll be some awesome catches on it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're a guest on somebody's boat, try to have some boat etiquette, you know. Have confidence in being a net guy, you know. If they're fighting a fish, you want to get your line out of the water so a fish doesn't get tangled in your line while the guy on the front, the boat owner, is fighting a fish. Try not to slam stuff around so you're not spooking potential fish catches that are near you, all that kind of stuff. So get out there and throw some crankbaits, guys. We'll be doing the drawing at the end of the month, so there is 30 days in this month, so we will, I'm trying to put them out every 3 days, so we'll shoot for, that'll probably come out Saturday, July 2nd, or the 30th. One of those days. It's coming out soon. We'll do the drawing. So anyways, guys, I could talk forever. I'm going to shut up now. Hope you all enjoyed it, and get out there and do some deep cranking. Peace out.